Hunting Yard is brought to you by Pick 7. Enter today for free at pick7.racing.com.
Race 2 is the Dominant Cleaning Solutions Handicap for the 2-year-olds over 1,200 metres. Our first runner, an intriguing one in that. Bill Boulder, the first runner for sire Boulder City, who is the unraced half-brother of four-time Cox Plate winner here in Winks, sold for $2.3 million as a yearling and was unraced due to a suspensory injury. Also a full brother to El Divino, who won a kindergarten stakes at Toulon, was placed in a Chandler McLeod here behind Brave Smash. The Dam won twice for Lindsay Park.
He's finished fourth in a couple of recent jump outs. He was under light riding in the latest at Werribee. I'd rather see him here on debut. I think others have jumped out or trialled better. 2
is Count the Headlights. This son of I Am Invincible fetched $800,000 at last year's Magic Millions Gold Coast sale. The Dam Tahni Dancer stakes placed here at 3 in the Group 3 Champagne and Group 2 Phillies Classic.
3 jump outs for this horse. The best of them was when the blinkers went on in the latest at Cranbourne, and he went really nicely. I was taken by his jump out. There's a big gap back to third there. I think he's a big winning chance on debut here. I respect the market support for him from a strong 2-year-old stable. I think he can measure up, and I think he can give the favourite a real race here.
Compact type, nicely put together. A little bit to come on in the coat, and fitness-wise, he's just about spot on.
3 is Eros BZ, the first of the only 2 race brigade in the race. We saw him debut at Geelong in a ding-dong battle with Extravagant Star.
Very much looks like his father in Capitalist. He's a strong chestnut who looks like he's got a lot of speed. I think the step up in trip to 1,200 metres is no hindrance for this horse, and he's set down quite a high benchmark that the others have to come up to. And you've got some first starters here that have given or shown some promise in jump outs, but I think this horse is going to be awfully hard to beat. Well supported, ran fast time from a good stable, and draws them at a terrific barrier.
With most of his rivals on debut, you can sort of tell by looking at him that muscle definition that he's got that run under the belt. So from a fitness perspective, he's definitely getting the ticks on top here. Outside of that, he's parading in good order, attitude pretty much spot on.
For Kokonotsu, not surprisingly being a son of Maurice, this is 9 in Japanese. $190,000 Magic Million Gold Coast by Full Sister Leading Lady is a 3-year-old filly with a win to her name so far for Paul Perry. Grand Dam Prima Nova out of Group 1 winner Bonanova was a runner-up in a Group 1 Winter Stakes.
Cranbourne jump out in a Pakenham trial for this horse, sat behind the speed and was beaten a long way by Rampant Lion in the trial. I'd rather see him here on debut. I think the trial suggests that maybe he's looking for further. 5
Reservoir Dog was a $160,000 Inglis Classic purchase, half-brother to Group 3 winner and Group 1 SA Oaks runner-up Meret, and recent Cranbourne maiden winner for Bussett and Young and Let's Excel.
3 Cranbourne jump outs, settled behind the leader in the latest and quickened nicely, taking a gap along the fence to win that heat narrowly. Maps for a soft run, maybe behind the leader, perhaps could even try and kick up. I think more likely to take a sit. I have the 3 favourites ahead of this horse, but has shown some ability.
7 Laurie Blue, 6 is scratched incidentally. 7 Laurie Blue is a daughter of Adelaide who went through the English Australian weanling sale, was passed in and then picked up at the English Great Southern for $10,000.
Interesting runner, this one. 2 recent Pakenham jump outs. Showed a stack of early speed in the latest of them, and it was eased down near the line, but cleared out to lead by a big margin in the early stages. So it'll be interesting to see if this horse can bring that speed to race day, because if she can, then she might be in it for a long way at a huge price.
8 is Sumatra. Godolphin just had a win with a filly on debut in Plymstock at Randwick. Here they have the daughter of the 2014 Blue Diamond winner and Earthquake, who's produced Namazu, who finished 4th in a Group 3 Spring Stakes at Newcastle at 3.
Well, I think this filly was also accepted for that race that you just spoke of here in Randwick, and they accepted for the 2 races, and they've opted to come here with Jamie Carr in the saddle. Has had 2 Sydney trials, was strong under light riding, coming from behind the speed in the latest at Warwick Farm on soft ground. Obviously by a star sire out of a Blue Diamond winner, so there'd be some intent here on debut to have a forward showing for Godolphin.
I think she's the best type in the guys. Whether or not 1,200 metres will be her absolute best distance in time, we'll find out in the next few minutes and possibly over the next few weeks, but a cracking type and sure to give you a bold sight.
Final runner to look at, BZ, is the filly in Hoops, who debuted on New Year's Day behind Letizia and looks like it'll benefit with a step up in trip.
Showed a fair bit of speed on that occasion, and it was a relatively slow there on race, which was often what you can see with contests down the straight over 1,000 metres. So I think there's going to be a lot more pressure here, but does draw the inside gate. I don't anticipate that she's going to have enough speed to be able to lead, but she probably gets a lovely run just on the back of the leaders. And the benefit of her is that she's got some race experience over some of these debutantes. Whether she's got that ability will be what we find out in the next 10 minutes or so.
So that's the field for the 2-year-olds over 1,200 metres. As we mentioned, 52 weeks ago across town at Sandown, it was Artorias winning at his second career start. He then went on on to win a blue diamond. We'll see what contenders emerge here. Ben Ascara, your top four.
Might be a little foolish to go against horses that have finished second in that Geelong maiden, but I am going to here on debut with Count the Headlights at the price discrepancy between him and Eros. I thought it was a really nice jump out when the blinkers went on, and I respect the market support for Amar Eustace Galloper. Eros has obviously put the marker down. That was a good performance on debut. A lot of market support, ran fast time in a narrow defeat. Sumatra has trialled well.
I'm with the favourite, and the market's starting to come for it now. I think it can control the race from either leading or outside the leader. If that's the case, it should be strong at the end of 1,200 metres against the debutants.
I'm with Sumatra here, guys. Just in the background is Bill Boulder. He's just acting a bit coltish over my right side. I might keep an eye on him, but here's Sumatra. She's a lovely style of filly. She's the best type in the yard. As I said, a little concerned that maybe 1,200 metres won't be her optimum distance in time, but she looks fantastic. 2 ticks for her today. Eros also gave 2 ticks to as well. It was more on the score of fitness. He just looks a little bit more forward than Sumatra at this stage of their preparation, but I went with Sumatra just being a slightly better type. The other one was Kokonotsu for Wendy Kelly. A really good style of horse. Keep an eye out for it, maybe in not such a hot race and maybe over a little fraction further in time.
No surprise to see Eros tighten up, especially in the last 10 minutes of betting here. It was $2.30 when we spoke about 15 minutes ago, now into $2.10. So positive sign for this horse, as we've spoken about, comes out of the right race and is raced. So the bigger guys, the data-driven people, actually have some data. Count the Headlights, $4 out to $4.40, but don't be worried about the drift without that for these first starters. We know that's going to happen. There's still enough support to suggest this horse is going to run really well. Sumatra, I'm a little bit worried about it, $3.50 out to $4.60. The market's suggesting it might need this run. Reservoir Dog back out to that original price of $12. And that bottom one, Hoops, 23 into 11. Good enough support to suggest that's a race you can follow, that Flemington race, which we did talk about. Just going to get some stats up that we work off the trading floor at Sportsbet. We need to have a plan before we go into these days. We know this track's going to race fast. We've got it as a good 3. True entire circuit. Really good sample size the last 3 years. This is the 1,000 metres. We saw it with race 1, unflinching, sat outside leader. Might have been the best horse. But look at those stats. It shows that you need to be forward of midfield, and that's where the profit on your turnover is. Then you go to the 1,200 metres plus. And again, not as strong as maybe the 1,000 shoot races, but I know where I want to be playing. I want to find horses that are going to be forward of midfield because that's where the positive play is. I think that's where the bigger players will play throughout the day. I think it's important when you've got these kind of days that you have a plan, and then after the races you can reassess if something else happens. But I'd want to be on horses on speed here.
After doing a lot of shopping at the Magic Millions Gold Coast last week, the Mar Eustace team unveil one of last year's purchases here in Count the Headlights. Dave Eustace joins us. Dave, thanks for your time. Tell us about this son of I Am Invincible.
Yeah, really nice horse. A little bit green early in his prep. Things just starting to come together now. Penny's starting to drop, and his last jump out was stylish, and Ben's had a couple of sits on him, and I'm sure run well. And you've tinkered with some gear both for that final jump out and this race debut here? Yeah, he just, as I said, he was a bit green early on, and we always felt there was a motor there, and he just wasn't quite showing it how we thought he could. So the blinkers went on for a couple of gallops and a jump out, and he extended well, so I think they'll do the trick. Where are we likely to see him from the gates? He'll have a nice squeeze away. It's a smallish field. He's hopefully not too far away without being too aggressive. And from there, Ben can sort of work out when he needs to make his move down the side. Thanks, Dave. Thanks.
So there's the thoughts of Dave Eustace, the trainer or co-trainer of horse number 2, but we're seeing a significant push now as we get closer to the start for Eros into $1.95. So $2.80, $1.95, clear market mover. We've got the pick 7 coming up a little bit later. Ben, we've got a little more than 26,000 people already signed up, already sitting back, tuning in, and looking forward to hopefully sharing in the prize pool of $100,000 this afternoon.
Yeah, Yulon Command, not surprised to see as the popular pick. He's, I think, the shortest price favourite of those last 7 races today. He is around that even money mark. So he's a bit of a valley specialist, and as those stats that Jules touched on, he'll make his own luck. If he's not in front, he'll probably be outside the lead, and that's not going to be a disadvantage today, I think, to be right up there in the first couple, and that's what he does. He makes his own luck, and he's got a terrific record at the Valley, and the pick 7 punters are getting right around him today.
So we're seeing Eros firm again now into 1.9. From a speed map perspective, Ben, how did you see the race unfolding here?
I think Eros is the one that's going to be right there on pace and potentially leading or settling outside of the lead. I expected him to lead. The only thing would be Reservoir Dog and Hoops have shown speed. Don't think either of them are quick enough to cross Eros. Laurie Blue's the interesting one. Showed so much speed in the latest Pakenham jump out. Whether that actually translates to race day and whether she can cross Eros, I'm not sure. But Eros looks the potential leader, if not maybe Laurie Blue. I thought Sumatra, Hoops, Reservoir Dog, Count the Headlights just in behind the speed.
When you get a horse going from 235 down to 190, it sort of suffocates a bit of the market and everything else is starting to come out.
Yeah, I think we always expected the market to find this horse. Jules touched on it. The late betting was always going to focus around. So it's always worth remembering, if you like a debutant in a race like this and you miss the first price they put up, don't step in after that. Wait for very late, because the market's going to focus around those horses with the exposed form late. You know, they've found Eros, they've found Hoops, and the debutants are drifting. That's almost always what happens with these debutants.
Let's head up to Terry Bailey for his thoughts on race number 2.
Ashman was referring to when he was talking about Sumatra. Gee, she's a lovely filly, beautiful, long striding walk on her. Really, really nice filly she is. Let's hope she gets around the valley a bit better than Dad did in the Great Lonray. Hoops moving in. Eros for Zara runs the favourite and best back runner. It was very good on its debut performance. Race experience, a big tick here. Reservoir Dog being led up from the Bussard and Young camp. A debutante. Bit of staying pedigree on mum's side of the family. Laurie Blue about to move in. Eros coming up. And Natty Little Colt about to move in. He's by in fact, he's by Capitalist. One of the leading sires about to move up. Sumatra to get set. And Coco Notsu to be the last to move in for Wendy Kelly and team. Eros 235 into $1.85. Punters coming big time for him. He just needs to move up into the barrier now. He was a little full of himself as he went down to the gate. The attendants getting from behind. He's in Eros. Sumatra being led up now. Jamie Carr riding for James Cummings. Lovely filly. And Koku Notsu to be the last to move in. There's only 2 horses really given a chance of knocking the favourite Eros over. 1,200 metres. Track you would think would be close to an upgrade with the very warm conditions we've had. A still breeze that is just coming across the track at a trickle. Coco Notsu being led up. Moves in. And Eros, the hot pot. They're all set. Racing. Eros jump with them cleanly. Is going to burrow through and he'll go to the lead early. Going fast on the outside as Count the Headlights is going to sit about a neck away. Then Reservoir Dog. Sumatra began quickly. Takes up a good spot. They were followed by Bill Boulder, Laurie Blue, then Hoops, and 2 lengths away. Last is Coco Notsu. Eros, the front runner. The little chestnut comes down the side, speeding along about a half in front of Count the Headlights. Reservoir Dog on a long rein behind those. Sumatra stalking. 2 to Bill the Boulder. Hoops on the fence. They were followed well back by Laurie Blue and Coco Notsu, the last one. Eros comes up towards the corner. They've got 600 metres to go as they pass the school. He's a neck in front of Count the Headlights. Sumatra's on the move. Going up, marching up 3 deep now. Reservoir Dog behind those, and then Bill the Boulder. Hoops making ground. Eros is being nursed to the corner. He's going a bit better than Count the Headlights. Sumatra couldn't quicken. And then further back as they turn, Reservoir Dog in the straight. Eros the front runner. Count the Headlights not done with. Count the Headlights again goes up to Eros. Eros has to call on everything. Count the Headlights went straight past him. Sumatra's getting warm late, but Count the Headlights on debut. Too good. 1 1/4 Sumatra and Eros every chance. Then Hoops behind those. Reservoir Dog, Koku Notsu, Bill Boulder and Laurie Blue last in.
Yeah, well put from Terry Bailey across the line. The favourite Eros, who had really strong market support late, did have every chance under the riding of Mark Zara. So he logs another placing, but the chat is about Count the Headlights. Ben Allen piloting this $800,000 son of I Am Invincible out of last year's Magic Millions Gold Coast sale to victory on debut. Sumatra almost in a similar vein, maybe not as eye-catching as the victory of Jewelry at Caulfield a couple of weeks ago, but they've found another filly to run on well on debut. That was the case with the Godolphin filly. So it's 2, 8, 3 and 9. The Race Brigade run 3rd and 4th, but Count the Headlights adds another piece of the 2-year-old puzzle for Mar Eustace. They're going to have some sort of army heading towards the features.
How about that team, Mar Eustace? They are absolutely dominant at the moment. They've taken out the Magic Millions recently with Cool and Gatter and Brent Zarafa. I think they've got a live Blue Diamond contender here. We knew the high benchmark that Eros put down on debut, and this horse has sat outside of him and proven too strong. Sumatra, the well-bred Godolphin filly, runs into second. That was a really encouraging debut off a great parade, but I think we've seen a pretty smart horse here, and I think we've seen potentially a genuine Blue Diamond contender.
It was an outstanding win, and there's no excuses at all for Eros because it found the front comfortably, led without being placed under all that much pressure, and the horse on its outside just was too tough for it and didn't even hold on for second in the end, with Sumatra, the other debutant, coming off its back and closing off stronger at the finish. So back to the drawing board for Eros from a diamond perspective. Wasn't strong at the 1200 today. They've run 1:10.66, which is about a second or 0.8 inside of standard time for this class. So very similar sort of trend to what we saw in comparison to race number one. But the market held relatively firm with Count the Headlights and Sumatra at $5. It was very firm in the favour of Eros, but it was the two debutants that were able to come out and run first and second. And connections of both of those horses would be pleased, considering this is their first outing. And you can start to think now with Eros, where are they at with him? Because he really needed to stand up today to go on to the next level. We heard from Dave Eustace pre-race. Let's hear from him again.
Dave, well done. Really something to behold there with that victory. What were the highlights for you?
Him crossing the line in front was pretty good. Probably just the fact that he did do everything very professionally. Lucy and the team at Cranbourne done a great job with him. He jumped, he travelled. He picked up when Ben asked him to, and he rounded it off nice and strong, and beat a horse who's had a start, ran well. It's always a good sign.
And it's a horse who's brought together a couple of different ownership groups that are very good supporters of the stable. How does that amalgamation come together?
Yeah, a couple of conglomerates coming together there. Rosemont starred Mytho, Nige, great to get a nice winner for them. They bred the horse, stayed in. And Ozzy and his team is Matt Balford's first horse with us, which is great. John Sims at home watching in the office, Jerry Van Maiden. So it's great. It's a really, really good crew. They're having a good run, and long may it continue. Nice tonic for Mytho and ISO. We send him all the best. We're 4 or 5 weeks out from a diamond. Is that the obvious target that looms? And the question is, what's the bridging run to get him there? Yeah, to be honest, it's a beautiful program, really. It's 3 weeks to the 1100. At Caulfield, give him a look around there, and then it's 2 weeks to the diamond, so hopefully pulls up okay. He's a big, solid horse, been very sound. There's plenty of condition on him, so you would hope he does. And, I'd like to think he'll be able to handle another run into the diamond, so he'll head there, all being well. Promising start, well done. Good ride by Ben as well, I should say. Thanks, Ben.
We'll have a look at what transpired here when the pressure started to build midway through the race at the 600-metre mark, and all the principals were in the first three. It seemed as though it was at advantage Eros, controlling it, having the opportunity to find the fence, but you can see here Mark Zara just gives the opportunity to start building into his gears, and the other horses never dropped off, did they, Ben? They continued to stick with it, and they just got stronger and stronger, whereas Eros was running out of carrots as it got towards the post.
Yeah, this horse showed in his jump outs how much better he got from jump out to jump out, and particularly when the blinkers went on, how strong he was late in that latest jump out at Cranbourne. You like to see horses really strong late in those jump outs. He brought it to race days. One thing to do it in jump outs, another to do it on race day, but he looks at a genuine Blue Diamond contender. Ben Allen, who has been riding Marabi well for the stable, might have another pretty handy ride.
It could be busy Blue Diamond and Oakley Plate Day for Ben Allen in concert with the Mar Eustace team, all going well over the next few weeks. Ben, congratulations. He looked like he had still a bit more to give even on the line.
Thank you. Yeah, he was good. He's a pretty natural horse. I did his first couple trials, and yeah, he's just one of those horses that naturally kind of knows what he's doing. Doesn't show much greenness. He's still raw. What you're seeing today is only half what he's got to give. How
have you found his progression with the work you've done with him so far, either through track work or jump outs?
Yeah, the second jump out, I was a little bit disappointed. I thought he was a bit plain, but he didn't have blinkers on, and he only does what he's got to do, and you're seeing that today. The blinkers went on, Johnny trialled him, and he looked pretty good. And, I was happy to keep the pressure up to the favourite. I was cruising, and my bloke, he saves all his energy, so I was happy to put it to him a bit early. And yeah, he just built into it, but yeah, he's quite a natural, pretty good going horse.
Well done to you, going better than 10% in town.
Thank you, cheers.
Race number 2 here at Gawler is going to be run under falling rain.